हेलो बच्चों, कैसे हैं आप सब? आई होप यू ऑल आर डूइंग वेल. Please write in the comment section how are we all doing. Okay, so today we are going to start with the topic cell. Today I'll explain about cell, and when I'm going to cover this topic, what all I'll be covering in this is I'll talk about cell, I'll talk about the discovery of the cell, then cell theory, number of cells, cell shape, cell size, and the basic structure of the cell. Okay, so we all might have studied and might have known by now that cell, this is also called as an independent unit of life or the structural and functional unit of life. Structural and functional unit of life. Yes. So why is it called as structural and why is it called as functional unit of life? The question arises here. See, we all know that all the organisms, be it any organism, right? So they are made up of cells. So as we know that, just like an example can be given of a wall which is made up of bricks, right? Somewhat like this, a wall is made up of, right? So as each brick is the unit of this particular wall, similarly, a single cell is the unit of a particular organism, right? So how is the hierarchy of an organism? First, cell is there, right? Then when many cells combine together, tissues are made. Yes. When tissues combine together, then what happens? Organs are made. Right? When organs combine together, then organ system is made, right? And when several organ system, for example digestive system, respiratory system, nervous system, etc., is combined together, then the organism is made. Yes. So if I say what is this organism made up of, then the basic unit is this cell, right? So as this cell is something what is giving the structure to the organism, right? So basic unit or the structural unit, if you talk about, is the cell. So the cell is called as the structural unit of life. Yes, we understood why is it called as structural unit, because the basic structure or the unit structure of an organism is the cell, so it is called as structural unit of life. Now the question arises, why is it called as the functional unit of life then? See, for an organism, right, each and every process that is performed inside the body, that is performed by the cell. Each and every function that is performed in the body of an organism is performed by the cell, and that is the reason why cell is called as the functional unit of life. I'll give an example for this. For example, suppose the respiratory system, right? Or if an organism is respiring, then respiration is again a cellular process. Yes. So that is why, like for the organism, respiration is basically done by the cell of that particular organism, right? So that is why this cell is also called as the functional unit of life. So by now we understood why cell is called as structural and functional unit of life. Okay. Now I'll talk about the discovery of the cell. So please let me know in the comment section who has discovered the cell for the first time. I know most of you would be knowing. So this is Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke. And when did he discover the cell? He discovered it in 1665. Yes. In 1665, Robert Hooke discovered about the cell. Now, how did he come to know about the cell? Basically, what was happening that Robert Hooke, he made his own microscope, and when he made his own microscope, he was looking for a cork cell. Right? Now, what is this cork cell? Cork is basically the bark of a tree. Okay? Cork is basically the bark of the tree. So when he I think I mistook with the spelling, it is E, Robert Hooke, yes. So when he was observing this cork, how he found the cork cell? When he was observing it under the microscope, he found it somewhat like this. yes, somewhat this kind of structure was seen. Yes. So this kind of structure was seen, and this is a kind of structure which somewhat looks like honeycomb. Yes. Now, so when he was looking for this, he found that this part is hollow. There wasn't anything in this part, right? Or I would make it somewhat like this. This part is hollow, right? So in Latin, cella is a word which means hollow. Yes. So, sorry, in Latin, cella is the word which means hollow. So from this Latin word cella, this cell word has come. Understood? So this basically means the cella, hollow, it means compartment. Yes. So he gave the name cell for this, cell that he observed under the microscope, or the cork cell, right? So this is how the name has come. Now, then Anton von Leeuwenhoek yes. Anton von Leeuwenhoek in 1678, he talked about the living cells. Okay. So he talked about the living cells. Now, where did he see the living cells? He saw the living cells in, some pond water or somewhat like that. So first living cells was observed by Anton von Leeuwenhoek in 1678. Okay. So this is the history of the cell. Now, after this, we'll discuss about the cell theory. So the cell theory has got certain postulates. Yes. So what are the postulates of cell theory? Postulates of cell theory. Now, first postulate of the cell theory is that all organisms, be it plant or animal, they are made up of cells. Okay. Then second postulate is that cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Right? Now, the third postulate is that all cells, they arise from pre-existing cells. Yes. Now, I'll give you an example for this for you to understand why is it said that all cells, they arise from pre-existing cells. See, you all would be knowing that amoeba, the parent cell of the amoeba, when fission undergoes, the parent cell, it divides into two daughter cells. Yes. So earlier that parent cell was existing, right? So all cells, they arise from pre-existing cells. For example, this amoeba, right? When binary fission undergoes, then what happens? Two daughter cells are produced. Yes. So this is the pre-existing cell, and from this, the two new cells have taken place, right? Have come into being. So all cells, they arise from pre-existing cells. This is an example, right? So the third postulate is that all cells arise from pre-existing cells. Okay. So they were given by three scientists. They are Schleiden, Sean and Rudolf Virchow. Okay, so this, that all organisms are made up of cells, this was given by Schleiden and Sean, and Rudolf Virchow said that all cells, they arise from pre-existing cells. So this is what is the cell theory. Okay, now let's talk about the number of cells. So number of cells means, is it that all organisms, they just have one cell? Because in the beginning when I told you about the cell, I told that organ, it is made up of many cells, right? In some of the animals, organ is made up of many cells, or when many cells, they combine together, then tissues are made, right? So by this we understand that number of cells can vary in organism. Yes, they can vary in organism. So some organisms can be one celled and some can be many celled. Yes, so when they are one celled, they are called as unicellular. And when they are many celled, they are called as multicellular. Example for unicellular can be bacteria. Yes, certain protozoans like amoeba, paramecium, yes, all these are unicellular. And multicellular organisms, they can be like we all humans, we are all multicellular. Yes, birds, they are all multicellular. Then fish, yes, etc., etc. Or other than that, it can be algae. Yes, so all these are multicellular. Okay, certain algae can be multicellular and certain can be unicellular as well. So when the organism contains one cell, it is unicellular. When the organism contains many cells, it is multicellular. Okay. So we have got to know about unicellular and multicellular now. So cell size, right? Now, different cells, they vary in sizes. For example, this is mycoplasma, which is also called as PPLO. This mycoplasma PPLO is the smallest cell known, okay? Smallest cell known, and this is also called as an intermediate between virus and bacteria. So I am writing here between virus and bacteria. Okay. Then in human beings, this is the sperm cell. Yes. And this is the smallest cell in the human beings. Yes. This is the egg cell, which is the largest in the human being. Yes. And then nerve cells. They are the longest. Okay. Now, depending on the requirement or the function, depending on the need of the body or the function, the cells, they have different shapes. Okay. So we'll talk about cell shape now. For example, this nerve cell, why is it longest or why it has got such a shape? Because it has to carry the impulses, right? So as it has to carry the impulses, it has got this kind of shape and the structure, right? Then, WBCs and RBCs, they also vary in shape, right? RBCs, they are somewhat disc shaped and biconcave. So disc shaped means that in between they are a bit, hollow. So why, or dipped, right? So why is it that they are, in between they are disc kind of or biconcave? Reason is because they have to carry the oxygen, right? They have to carry oxygen and they have to make hemoglobin or oxyhemoglobin. They have to combine with the hemoglobin and have to make oxyhemoglobin. So that is the reason that they have got different shape. So depending on the shape that is required for their function or how they have to function, the cells, they vary in shape. Okay. Now, the basic structure of a cell. So if you talk about any cell, right? Basic cell structure. So any cell will contain three things. One is the cytoplasm, which is also known as protoplasm. Yes. Then second is the nucleus. And third is cell membrane. And this cell membrane is also known as plasma membrane. Right? Now, these are three basic structures which are found in an animal cell. However, in plant cell there is one additional structure which is called as cell wall. Okay, this is found in the plant cell. Okay. So in this chapter I will discuss about the plant cell and animal cell as well. And in the next session I am going to talk about the cell organelles. Now, what are cell organelles? As I said that the basic structure is, this is your cell membrane. Yes. Inside whatever matrix is there, this is cytoplasm or protoplasm. And then this is the nucleus. Right. Now, in this, the cytoplasm or the protoplasm, there are certain other parts of the cell which are lying, right? So they are called as cell organelles. Yes, whatever other part would be lying over here. Yes, they are called as cell organelles. Yes. So in the next class, I am going to discuss about the cell organelles in detail. So till then, if there is anything that you have to ask me about whatever I have covered today, please write it in the comment section. And if any query, I'll be very, very happy to answer that. So have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.